everyone, I am back. Oof, that last house was really something else. But I had to take you down and under to the underworld and the other world to give you a peekaboo at what Venus was up to down there. Okay, and I am back. We are going to go through Venus in the ninth house. So, up until now, Venus had to experience all the things, okay? And she has. She did all the things too, okay? So, if you're following this series so far, you kind of realize that there is like a process that Venus went through. And the best way to not repeating everything, because it's like it was easier to do like the repeating, the repetition when we were like a few houses down, but we're already in the ninth house. So I have to kind of like compress the information a little bit when I'm doing that little recap. So if I had to simplify the journey so far, I would say from the first house to the fifth house, Venus was in preliminary schools. Okay, she was understanding and learning the ABCs of being in body, the ABC of this material world, and the ABCs of learning life as an individual. And then I would say from 6, 7, and 8 house, Venus, started to learn the things that she learned from preliminary school and start applying them in 6, 7 house to put things together, understanding concepts, and understand how to work together with other people. Like how in high school you're learning higher concept, but then you still have to work together to do projects and and then also Venus experienced the different types of worlds, different energies, different polarities and nuances. And so that was the high school experience. And then let's just think of it as Venus went through preliminary school from 1 through 5, from first house was fifth house, go through high school and deeper knowledge in 6, 7, and 8, acquired all the knowledge that you need and did all that. And let's think of it as entering ninth house. It's like Venus is entering college. See what I did there? Since the ninth house is really associated with Jupiter and higher learning. But anyway, now in the ninth house, Venus says, oh, I'm grown. I've done these things. I have experiences. I'm a more mature person now. And look at all these guys down there who are still at the beginning of that cycle and of that journey that I've actually already went through. I'm all the way in house 9. And we have a lot of people who are still about to start house 1. And they have to go to that long process of going up and down the wheel of life, of wheel of the essence of life, the wheel of different aspects and facets and the discovery process. I'm already over here in the ninth house. I could help someone out by educating them and giving them an understanding of it. I could facilitate someone's understanding of it because I understand that from true experience. Now, in the ninth house is a fire sign. It's a fire element house, and that's associated with Sagittarius. Okay, and that's governed by, of course, Jupiter. Okay, it's expansion. Venus there, having gone through all that and survived being in hell, going through hell and back, truly expanded her, refined her. She came back with new wisdom that she could teach, that she could educate the others, those who are still farther along that cycle of the wheel. Okay, so in the ninth house is also a fire house, and you would see In the first house, Venus was learning, was rediscovering, realizing, understanding the survival instinct, the survival instinct, um, the will, power, will to live, free will, and all that jazz. And then we have then going down to Leo. Leo has fire sign. As a fire sign, she was understanding, okay, well, I have all these things. I'm excited to show it. I know all these things, and I love, I'm fun, I'm this and that. I've experienced all these things, but Venus was still in the light. No, she's not experienced. It was all fluffy up to this point. But there, the way it shows up as that fire, passion, energy is like, I know now. There's more out there, you know. I know I could teach more because there is more. Is the idea of expansion. There's always more to see, and the experiences are beautiful. It's a different energy of what it is to have a passion. And Venus upon this time was walking through life, and in that ninth house you have the energy of running and going the farther distance, going far away. So going back to how the houses are related to the body, you could see that too once you understand the parts of the body that governs a certain house, or maybe the other way around. What parts of the body the house governs, and the energy of that sign, like Sagittarius. So that rules the hips, the thighs, and the arteries. Okay, so the hips, that's what stabilizes you to be on your feet, and the thighs, that's where you have the larger muscles that allows you to run and go to the distance. You use that core that you already have, but because from above the wheel as you are going down, but once you get back to the ninth house and you want to just kind of like shoot fast like an arrow, you need all the knowledge from the previous houses to propel you. It's a propelling energy. It's like a resistance that propels. It's like the Sagittarian, it's like an arrow. It's a bow and arrow. You pull it back, release, and then it's speed. And for that, for you to propel with speed, you've had to have an understanding of distance, knowledge. You have to have an energy of the air energy of the third house, and of the, seventh house, which is air, and understand to balance out and measure so you could read the right target at the right time and you have a true aim. There's so much that you needed to understand before you become somebody who could shoot an arrow, somebody who could go to the distance and run and travel and understand distance and speed and propulsion. All that had to be learned. And when you get there, to understand what you're seeing wholesomely, with both the layers, with all the duality, with all the multiple faceted complexities of life, which she knows now, having been through 1 through 8, can teach that now, can express that now, can run with that now and understand those higher concepts that she would not have understood before she had been through houses 1 through 8. Okay, so you see the hips and thighs is represented, the ninth house, Sagittarius expression. It looks like a what's that animal? It has a torso, human body up until the torso, and right at the hip, right around the hip area, it's more like a horse-like figure. Okay, so once you understand the areas of the body that each house or the sign that is associated to the house governs, it brings a deeper understanding of the house, or of the nature of this Venus sign, that makes it easier for anybody wherever you are in the spectrum with your astrology can understand, can decipher, can assimilate, can absorb. Okay, so and then that was like the part that is running, and then you also have it also rules the arteries. All the arteries are everything is larger in the ninth house because of Jupiter. Okay, the arteries, that's what makes your, that's where your, it's a pump, what's where your blood pumps. So even though it's a fire house, it's a fire element house, it's not that the preliminary instinct anymore. It's not like a desire to show off anymore and to show that you have backbone and strength and you could stand tall and, you know, and against adversity anymore, and kind of like show what you want and say what you want with spine. Okay, it's the sort of fire that pulses you in the inside. It's a knowing that drives you, because arteries, it's like a drive, the blood that pumps. It's a larger gush, that pulsation of the blood, the larger currents of your life force. Okay, it's a drive that it has a tempo, it has a speed to it, it flows really fast. Okay, so that brings like a certain nuance to it. So you will find people with who are born with Venus and the ninth house, they are people who, those are the people, like I said before, that would not mind having the long distance relationship. Those are the people that would not mind experiencing mingling and loving and getting into relationship with people from completely different colors, different cultures, different languages and backgrounds, different religions, different whatever, because they've seen all of it. You know, they already been through house 8, where they experience different in a way that is so different. Like what else could be more different than death itself, than darkness itself, as compared to anything, you know? So there is no, to them, they're starting to understand there is really no separation. They become wise, you know? It's the nature of, like, you know, I'm not going to fuss over somebody who speak different languages, who went through different, because I know there's always more out there. I've seen so much now. I've seen so much, I know so much, and I could teach it to somebody. I could educate, I could hold somebody's hand upward and help them and facilitate them through that cycle, through that angle. You know, and also because you have been through those stuff and you have a better idea and how you shape your values, you know. By the time you get to the ninth house, you become a connoisseur in some things, and that's why these people sometimes they might come across a bit like a know-it-all. It's because they have been through some stuff and they have become something that is becoming to stabilize into something, into they're starting to stabilize more into their uniqueness in what that looks like for them. So that fire in the first house, that individual nature of it, they're starting to fine tune what does really that identity look like based on all the things that I know already. Where in the first house, that fire element didn't know. It was still stuck at curiosity and courage. And the fifth house, you know, that fire energy is already courageous. Attain courage and have love. You know, in the ninth house, you see this, that energy of, I know myself, I know my individuality in a way that leaves room for others, that leaves room for me to be, you know, have my new set of understanding, new set of values. You know, I'm willing to travel for more. I know plenty, but I could always learn more and still see more and stay within my own informed understanding of things without necessarily needing someone to convince me otherwise. Okay, so people with this Venus there, you might find themselves being lovers of traveling, and they don't mind being, with different cultures, and they have an ease about them that kind of like embrace everybody, you know. Um, so let me see what else I could add to that. Okay, so yeah, Venus is a grown person, a grown woman. She wants to be the educator now. She wants to help others as she travels along to the rest of the houses, which is house 11, 10, 11, and 12. All right, that was all for Venus and Night House. See you soon. Bye.